cooperate. That's the key to getting things done. So I took the job and I went up and worked for the Ecumenical Center, and sure enough, we got things organized and we got the money. Okay? It was millions of dollars at stake. That's why people were very concerned. But we got the grant and that kind of business. Well, when Martin Luther King found out that I was going to be leaving Chicago, where I was living at the time, and go to Boston, he got on the phone and called. And this was a Sunday evening. He said, "I thought you were coming to Atlanta." I said, "Well, you know, I was ready to come, but I didn't hear from you. I thought maybe, you know, you needed more time to make up your mind, or we're trying to work things out." He said, "No, did you get a letter from Andy?" Andy Young, Andrew Young. I said, "No, not yet." He said, "Andy didn't send you a letter?" I said, "No, you know, he's probably kind of busy, you know, whatever. I don't know. But I've already made up my mind that I have to go to Boston now because I made that commitment." But as soon as I finished that commitment, he said, "Well, I want you to make a commitment now, that when you complete that work at Boston, you're going to come down here because this is urgent." And he said, "This may be the last campaign." And I took him very seriously, and no sooner than I finished that project, I made a commitment for 3 months when I was in Boston. And I was glad I did go to Boston because that's where I met my you know, wife at that time. So I then returned to Atlanta to work full-time on the Poor People's Campaign. And I was glad I did because I would have had some feelings about it because it was short-lived in 1968, as you know. So I worked from him full-time on the Poor People's Campaign with Martin Luther King from January to April. It was a short period of time on a full-time basis. But I had been working as a consultant in Rochester, New York, when the gangs had a riot there, in Chicago, you know, worked together. I mainly served as a strategist, sort of a forerunner. Like in Selma, Alabama, I was the first staff person to go in there to lay the groundwork. That was kind of the job that I had in the movement. Get a lay of the land, get people together and organizing them so they could work together, people who were at odds with each other, try to settle their differences and that kind of business, etc. In fact, I remember with Malcolm X, first time I met him was in Selma, Alabama. Malcolm X had come down to give a speech at Tuskegee Institute, this university now. And since he was in the area, he decided to come to Selma, Alabama. And there was a lot of fury, and people got all upset, excited. They said, "We don't want him coming down here, you know, he's going to start a riot," or, you know. I said, no. Now, at this time, Martin Luther King was in jail. Malcolm X met with the group and to say that, you know, he's a sensible guy. You know, he's not going to come down here and try to destroy anything. He said, "I came to support." And I sided with Malcolm X. I said, "Listen, this man is history, you know, he's great, you know, and he's, we don't necessarily agree with a lot of his methodologies, that kind of thing, but we agree that we want to be free. So we might not agree on the method, but we agree on the goal, and he would be respectful of our approach to this problem." And sure enough, he made a very brilliant speech in Selma, Alabama. But one of the things that struck me, which I will never forget, he said that you better listen to Martin Luther King. Otherwise, you're going to have to listen to me.
Okay, and we're going to talk about that when we come back after we take our first commercial break. And we'll be back with you following this commercial break. Yet, the president